Just a reminder before today's programme that the previous instalment of the Now Review is still available for you to watch, where we took a look at the very best of Now Dance 2010. And now, here on AMTV, the Now Dance Marathon that started months ago comes to a close. So here is the final part. Hello there everybody, it's Adam Martyn here and welcome back to another instalment of the Now Review. And it's sad to say, we've reached that point guys, we have reached the end of our Now Dance journey as we will be taking a look at this release, Now, the Very Best of Dance 2014. Or known as the Very Best of Now Dance or Now Dance the Very Best of, you can call it what you want. And some of you will be screaming, Adam, this isn't the end, there were many dance releases after this. And the answer is yes, I'm well aware. But like I've done before, I've reviewed several dance albums in the past before I started this marathon review. So if you want to check those out, please go and look at the Now Review playlist. I assure you the later releases of dance albums in there, including the one from this year, 2020, Now 100 Hits Dance, that's in there as well. But for the meantime, here's good old Now the Very Best of Dance 2014. This was the first Now Dance album in a few years. Yes, I know they'd had the Club Hit series for 2013 and 14, but I don't consider those as Now Dance albums. You could argue 80s dance or 90s dance. Does that fall into it? I'm talking about a mainline Now Dance album. This was the first time in 4 years, the last one being Now the Very Best of Dance 2010. And looking at this cover, wow, I mean, we're keeping with the tube design. That design from the 90s is carried on. Again, I think at this point, both fans and Now themselves knew that tube design was synonymous with Now Dance, and I'm very glad that they decided to keep using it. It's a green logo, which normally I'm not the big fan of green, but I mean, looking around it, this is just a load of fun. Lots of yellows and blues, and it just reminds me of like a very 90s aesthetic, 90s music video aesthetic, and I don't know, I just love it. The colors all work, blue, yellow, and green works wonderfully. So yeah, big fan of this cover art. Before we look at the track list, they abandoned the fat boxes by this point, and they've gone for the old familiar, we know, sort of like open flipbook style. So I'll show you that in a good while, but we're going to flick on over to the track list. Okay, kicking off with CD1, and I mean, thank goodness they're actually in proper columns this time, just makes it much more easier to read. And yeah, you're going with some songs at the time, like Ruse by Magic is on there, Prayer in C, a lot of 2014 stuff. And that 2014 vibe does indeed continue as we go down, like Ellie Goulding, Bastille, Avicii, John Newman, and going to some early 2010 stuff, you know, California Girls, Katy Perry's on there, On the Floor by Jennifer Lopez, you got TikTok by Kesha, which was like 2009-10, so yeah, a nice little mix. This disc finishes with Louder by DJ Fresh, which was a huge hit in 2011, God I remember that, but yeah, that finishes the first disc where there's 21 tracks. CD2 kicks off with the remix of John Legend's All of Me, again, All of Me was a huge hit in 2014, so it seems like the starting of each disc is going for the current year, sort of 2014, and then it seems maybe later on down the line things will go back. Miami to Ibiza, Swedish House Mafia, of course, Ellie Goulding again, but this time with one of her earliest hits, Starry Eyed, which was definitely a 2010 release. You got Alex Clare, Wretch 3-2, Examples on here, Change the Way You Kiss Me, great song by a great artist. And this disc finishes with Dizzy Rascal with Bonkers, which was everywhere back in 2009. So yeah, it seems like they're not going as far back as at the minute as you'd expect. I mean, from what I've just skimmed through there, you know, 2008, 2009. I wonder if they'll go back any further for disc 3. Okay, so you got Timber, you got Price Tag, La La La, Fight for This Love. Again, sort of 2009 onward stuff up to 2014, all very modern stuff. It seems that was the demographic they were going for. You got Pass Out by Tiny Temper, again a really great song. Hot Right Now, another DJ Fresh, I Need a Dollar. Was that a dance song? I guess you could dance to it. Whistle by Flowrider. You got Bomb Bomb, Super Bass, I Love It, I Could Be the One. Finishing with Disclosure and Sam Smith with Latch. Okay, so overall thoughts on this track list. So as I said, across those 3 discs, what we can see is sort of going from 2008-9 up to the current day in 2014. They're very going for the last 5 years. They want their audience to remember these songs, whether that was from a few years ago or from what they hear on the radio at the time. They're very much going for the current demographic. There are some songs on here I would never consider a dance song like I Need a Dollar by Aloe Black, it's a great song, but I wouldn't necessarily put it in the dance category. So this was really the shift for Now Dance when we were going way away from the hardcore stuff like they were doing in the late 90s, early 2000s. We are now firmly sort of back in almost like, the pop territory, or just things that you could dance to rather than dance as a genre, which I think is a real shame. I always liked before how Now had that option for those who were into hardcore dance. Sure, there were always some pop things here and there, but they offered those, those remixes, those niche songs that didn't make the charts. So it's a shame they've delved away from that. There are a few remixes on here, but this is very much a mainstream pop album that's been labelled as dance. But now I think it's time to open this up and see how it's presented on the inside. So opening up the first compartment, you can see we have a yellow disc with that reflective surface. Once again, I hate reflective surfaces on CDs, so annoying. But yeah, that's that. You have this little bit of artwork, which isn't the front cover, but it's a really cool piece of artwork. I love that sort of like almost going into hyperspace sort of thing with the blues and the purples and the whites. It's a really cool image. Just curious as to why they put it, because again, it doesn't represent the cover. And here are the other two discs, CD 2 and 3, with a sort of mint green colour and a purple colour. Odd they didn't go for blue, yellow and green, which were arguably the main colours. Purple isn't really a main colour of the cover, but yeah, those are your three discs. Again, nice that it's just plain colours, but that reflective surface is just so annoying on discs, man. So, now the very best of Dance 2014. Is it worth your time? And is it worth your money? Well, I mean, it's very easy to find. This one, I think, was a couple of pounds, as it's a bit more recent, 2014, only 6 years ago. But basically, look back from about 2008 to 2014, look at the pop charts at the time and stuff that was, like, more dancey. If you like anything there, you will like this album. I'd argue Now Dance Anthems is still a better album to get into, like, just dance as a whole of, like, the last 20, 30 years. But, I mean, if you're particularly into that late first decade, early second decade, 2000 stuff, then Now the Very Best of Dance does have it for you. Again, I just think it's a great shame they strayed away from, like, the more hardcore dance stuff. I know they had club hits at this point, which is maybe where dance was going, and they had the 80s and 90s dance spin-offs, but the Now Dance brand had always been consistent, and it's a shame that this late in the game they decided to deviate away. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed, please leave a like on this video, and let me know in the comments, did you pick up this album when it came out in 2014? Did you pick it up later down the line, or are you just going to pass on it entirely? And before we sign off, just a special thank you as we have reached the end of our Now Dance Marathon, which began, I think well over 6 months ago. I know it hasn't been every week, and I know I've already covered some of the Now Dance albums before, but I set out to review them here on the Now Review, and I'm happy to say that we have done it. If you've been watching all the way through, thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. If you've only watched one or two, thank you again. But the Now Review playlist now, I think, has over 100 episodes, which is insane. So there's now over 100 Now albums you can check out our reviews on. And yeah, it's been a pleasure going on this journey with you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. And until the next one, I will see you guys next time. A massive thank you to our producer and director patrons for your support towards us here at AMTV. You just help keep us going, and that's massively appreciated. And that does bring us to the end of another evening here on AMTV. We hope you enjoyed the programme, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.